And another potential sponsor, we mentioned them last week, and I
Up your
gotta
game.
say, I messed up on the read a little bit. There are not 26 grams of carbs on this, and anybody listening should have called my bullshit. But you know who called my bullshit? Drink Game Up. 1 gram of carbs, full flavor, like I said. My personal favorite's the fruit punch. Did Katt Williams cut the best pipe bomb slash shoot interview in a long time?
I haven't seen all of this, so I've seen clips, and I'm not even sure. This was on
Shannon
Football
Sharp's
Player.
podcast, Club
Dan
Shay
Sharp.
Shay.
Thank you. And I saw him basically putting over Bernie Mac big time. And this was about basically talking about Steve Harvey.
There was Steve Harvey in there. There was Kevin Hart.
Okay.
He went at Ludacris. There was almost nobody that was safe. Cedric the Entertainer.
Mm-hmm.
This is something you want to go check. And Dave, here is a stat that is going to make you jealous. In 4 days' time, how many views do you think this thing got? And I'm going to check my message to a buddy from work because I was watching this and this was the stat that really had me jealous.
I'm just going to start off with a cool million.
Times 30.
Wow.
That has got to give you the idea of how wild some of the stuff he said. It's 2.5 hours where he goes hard for most of that time. And I noticed a certain Jerry Jarrett thing in there, a principle of wrestling promos, where you give them enough that they know is true so that when you start working it, it doesn't come off as that. And some of the wilder things were Katt Williams saying he read like 12 million books between 12 and 20 something. There were some wild claims, but then there were also some hot shots taken. And I just wanted to get your thought on just why this got so popular. Is it because of some of those wrestling principles, or is it just because he is such a big name?
I mean, it's probably a little bit of both, right? He's a big name, but Katt is not like a name that is, I don't want to say super, not, you know, he's famous, right? But he's not like the biggest, like, you know, like he had nothing going on, I would say, recently, and I'm not knocking him. Like nothing that was like, you know, a big special or anything out recently that I'm aware of. But when you have...
He did have a special on Netflix, I want to say within the last year. He stays touring, but like you said, he's not in that public eye like Matt Rife would probably be the biggest comedian now.
Right. But when you're on a platform like that and you start saying these outlandish things, like we've seen it in wrestling too, even to a lesser degree, like I won't name some podcasts, but we've seen people that aren't necessarily famous and we look at their numbers and they get decent numbers, and part of it is they just rant. Well, now you have a popular celebrity who's ranting, but also some stuff that's believable because he's close enough to the situation and he's saying things that some people are thinking. So, yeah, some of those wrestling principles definitely help. We just had a conversation just today, like about Donald Trump, or somebody was talking to me about, like you know, the whole pro wrestling thing, which I've brought up plenty of times. I'm like, yeah, it's a character. I get totally the territory system when I listen to that guy, you know?
The one difference I will say with Katt Williams is it was less of a rant and more of like a focus. You would have to watch it because he says some wild things, but he stays composed for a lot of it. And when he's saying these things, it's almost like the CM Punk thing where he's like, tell me when I'm telling a lie.
Right,
you know,
right.
The one thing I told the dude at work is there is alcohol on the desk and they are drinking during it.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't come off as drunk during it, but I don't know if that had anything to do with the lengths of the claims that he went to. But I wanted to bring it up because I thought it was an interesting interview that is getting some press, and I think it's worth anybody checking out.